start it up here. Good morning. So those in the community, yesterday, you should be able to see the stream from yesterday. I for the first time since I've started doing the morning huddles, I hit recording instead of stream. So today we are streaming. So I hope that y'all are actively able to watch that on YouTube. For those on TikTok, we do have a YouTube channel. It's ATA_trader. If you want to watch that on YouTube, you can also come in on BotJock. Just go by to botjok.com, botjok.com, and you can watch that. So everything's linked into it. We have our community events, tab right here, and that gives all of our videos that we do. So connected. So you can see we got an initial push up on that. So while we let the CPI data play out, let's talk about yesterday and just kind of like the week, right? And so I want to start off by talking about Monday, and so I'm gonna move this over so y'all can see it on TikTok here. And so let's see, there we go. So you can see this short right here was called from the Harmonic Tracker Pro on Friday, right? Played out extremely well throughout the day on that Friday. To kind of zoom out a little bit, I know it's harder for y'all to see on TikTok, but there's a red line right here that I have been talking about for some time. We've been playing the puts off of it since the fall, and then the retest here. So far we've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and rejected and made just a ton of money. Now, the thing I want to caution people, I talked about this yesterday from a larger look, is we do have this into kind of a falling wedge. These oscillations are almost textbook for the falling wedge. And the news looks like it's pushing it a little bit north. So if we sustain this push north into market open, I would suspect we might get a pretty big push continuation north. So, but let's talk about kind of how we've played the last few days as well as yesterday. So you can see Tuesday, this is what started it all. We had that fall, that was called from there. We did find support. We also found kind of that triple bottom that came up, and it retested this level here around the 446.32, causing that trend reversal. Yesterday, we opened up right about here somewhere. You can see I left a few of these lines here for everybody. One of the things we were watching, the biggest thing actually in the room, is this head and shoulders. I mean, it was real apparent. We wanted to see that trend reversal. Once I saw these two peaks, what we talked about is I put a line like this. What this line does to me is if we break above this line and do this, then the head and shoulder pattern is invalidated. So I kind of use that as my invalidation line, which we never got to. And then one of the things we were talking about in the room as we were going live is that we had this shoulder. So we were looking at these wick heights. And then we had the head, obviously, and then we had this shoulder that we were looking at the wick heights. And so we had entered our puts. We actually got a couple scalps on these little oscillations here because we got that short call. And then we had re-entries, and people that didn't enter, they actually entered as we went over to this side of the shoulder. We got in just in time. We came down. One of the things I was mentioning in the room is that if we do get a close below this yellow line, right, and we start to lose some steam with some momentum, it's likely going to fall and we're going to break. So the first move, typically with these head and shoulders like this, is you're going to find that big movement up. Try to get it to where TikTok can see here too. So you're going to try to get this big movement up here. Then you have that shoulder, that head, that shoulder, and then it follows up with an equal move down, right? So that's how you reclaim this side here. So a lot of us trailed the stop here. We did get stopped out, a lot of us on this push north here. And then some people, I think, went ahead and re-entered as well to follow this one. I missed the re-entry because I had a meeting, so I stepped away, which is okay because I was able to see that, we did have this fall into our support line that we had already drawn. We have our shoulder, our head, our shoulder, right? So we went from a head and shoulder to an inverse head and shoulder. Again, we had the pump, we had the retest of the neckline, we have our long call, and I was able to enter that long right there. So I got a nice little pump here. It rolled it all the way up. I trailed it pretty tight as I blew past this thing here, so I got stopped out somewhere in there, so I did not get the whole thing, but it was still a great trade. And then this one, you can see again into a head and shoulder. I mean, it was such a wild day. So not only do you have the fact that our indicators caught every single oscillation perfectly, but we literally went head and shoulder to inverse head and shoulder, back to head and shoulder. We dropped, right? And then now we're pumping right off of that line. So I'm on the regular trading hours. Let's go to the extended hours. I'm going to mute a few of these things so you can I want to show you all kind of where we're at here. So this is the extended hours. So what you can see playing out here is we have our push north like this, which is kind of like our pole. We have our flag, right, for our bull flag, which we had our breakout, push, our retest, bam, popped up, right? So even with that news, right, we had that push up. But you can tell that even though we pushed up to almost 450 or so, we did have that rejection. Now, these are not abnormal for news days to have a push north, have a push south, have a push north, and then the trend will expose itself. The thing I want to caution people with today is, and this is why it's kind of nice, the news happens pre-market if you're not already in something, because what news tends to do is, how I trade the news, is you're going to have the news event, it's going to push like it did, and then it's going to drop, right? So that's how it wrecks people's stop losses, clears some liquidity. And then let's say the news is bullish. It finds some support early, all the people jump into it, and let's say we have another push, and then it pulls back, and we have another push, like this, right? At some point, I'm going to stop that there. You're going to find that resistance level, and you don't want to chase these. Like, don't chase the push. Chase the pullback, the support, and then ride that wave back up. But the thing is, most news events, if they pump north like this, it's going to balance out. So you're going to eventually find it where it'll range, it's going to lose some support, create like a, another head and shoulder pattern, and then you're going to begin your descent back like that. So what ends up happening is you get these crazy pushes north. People take their calls up here or their longs, and then they try to hold it thinking we're going to the moon, and then the trend just goes against them, and we end up back to where we started. And now, if you didn't capture it here, you're likely going to get wrecked, and the odds of us getting back to there quickly is not very good when it does that. So typically there's a big movement one way, big movement the other way, and then whatever direction it explodes to, we eventually, over time, the next 4 or 5 days, 7 days, we trend back to where we were, unless the news was overly bullish or overly bearish is what you want to watch on that. So as far as where I think we can go today, at the end of the day, if you really play the ranges that we have, you can see again, this is kind of that wedge I was following. Now, we did get on the after hours, right, a couple breakouts above, so we could almost take this line and true it up a little bit to the after hours. I would probably say something like that, right? Because now you have the peak, you have the peak. We did try to hold as support, we lost it, came up, another rejection. But the key part I'm watching now is, can we hold this? You can see here we did have our little mini bull flag. It pumped up off of it because of how the news dropped. And so we're holding above this trend line. I would need to see, for me to take a call, although I know that we're in that bullish pattern potential, I want to see it hold support of the 448.29. If we break back below 447.75 before market open, I'm not thinking call. I'm likely thinking more put, because we're back below this trend line. So we could have another oscillation fall. Now, you all know that my anticipation has been that we're going to hit this little apex peak here around 443.93. And we've been working our way to it, right? Now, if you look on the bottoms here, we have our low of 445, and then we had another low here, 444.98. We had a higher low, 445, 45, and then we've gone up since then, right? But you can see, look, we're already breaking back into that channel. So, you know, for me, I want this news to settle. You know, this simply could be, you know, another tactic they use on the news where the first push is not the real one, right? This is to clear some liquidity, to hit some stop losses. You know, if people thought we were, you know, gonna fall because the news would be bearish, right? Likely they put the stop losses at 448.89 or slightly above. That's where these wicks come up, right? Because, you know, people get stopped out and then we drop it down. So, and you can see, you know, we're bleeding back into the channel. So I want to see, does this hold? Not only you have the line there, but on the 2 minute I have my 200 EMA as well. And so I want to see, can that hold? So let's take a look at the hour and see where that's looking at here. So the 200 on the hour is 450.49. That would be the upper range I would watch. We did get a blue flip here, but likely it's because of this wick right here. So I would need to see a little more than that to believe that that's going to hold. The harmonic had us in a short. It hasn't completely flipped on long on the 1 hour. So I'm not sure that I'm convinced that that's going to hold. Again, you know, you can see we're just bleeding down, right? Now, keep in mind, this could be that move south, because this is a lot of movement for after hours, right? So this could be that move south, you know, again, to clear that side of it before it moves the opposite direction. So, you know, the range that I would play, again, would be that 444.50 to, you know, 445 or so as your low, and then that 450 as your high. If you flip above this 200 EMA with some strength and we hold support, I would definitely ride that call all the way to the 453 or so. And then, but if we cannot stay above this red line, you know, this has been the easiest trading ever. You could almost just extend this down to that teal one and then just keep scalping this sucker down, setting stop losses, you know, just above that. So, man, but look at this bleed, so wild. So now, as far as what my thoughts are on a big drop, my overall longer term call, and I called this back here. Y'all can look at my community events to keep me honest. But back when we were at 456, I had mentioned, you know, we drew this line. I said it's not going to hold. It's looking like it's going to begin some form of a descent, and we did, right. I think that at some point we're going to actually come down to retest around 431, you know, which is this, for TikTok to see, that's this area of support here, right? We have another high area of support there because you have support and you have resistance. So, you know, between 437 and 431, I think we need to retest that at some point, but there's a chance, you know, that we could hold support on this teal line, break this apex, come back up here, test, you know, 451, break through that, get to about 454 for one more little hoorah before that happens, right? It could take, you know, to the end of the month or so, or past to get to that. So, but again, you know, when in doubt, you zoom out, and we are still on a very upward trend. With a big gap to fill. So, but we have not technically broken through my trend line that I have here. There's a few different ways I could have drew this one. I mean, we could take this peak here to this peak here. I might just do that for now because that'll give me a lower low of things, right? And so if we do that peak or that bottom to that bottom, that will give us a little bit of a lower one. So for us to get down to that 431 or potentially down here to the 415 or so, we would need to break that apex. So let's take a look at the daily. I'm spending a lot of time on the SPY, so I'll probably not spend as much on the other stocks, but yeah, this is TradingView. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, always answering. Let's see where we are. I want to find the EMAs here. So with the 200 EMA is right here on the uh, this one displays on our zone tracker, and so that's around 418, 419. So like I said, we still have a long way to go. This could even potentially be, I've said this a while ago, right? A shoulder, a head, and then a shoulder that we get going on here, right? So we could see a break on this over the next like 2 weeks, to come down to retest that 31, and then have another push back to 443 before it starts to round. And if that's the case, man, it's setting up for a real big fall, or it could be a real big pattern trap. I find that on the daily, sometimes those patterns that are too clear, they're not the best ones to trade. But you can see here our divergence. Hunter did flip red, so we talked about that being very bearish, and you can see how well that played out. So our gap fill has flipped also purple up top. It's starting to flip a little. Actually, I mean, we still have a lot more bullish, but it hasn't called the bearish actual gap fill itself. But there is a little gap fill above around 454, 455 that it is calling. But if you look at the longer term, we still never gap filled this area here around 425, 423. But remember, this is the daily, so it could take months to play out. So the range that I would trade today, would be around that 444 range up to 450. If we break above that 450, 451, you're probably clear to try to ride some calls up there. Just remember, if you're the way I've been trading it, I've been letting my puts have a little more room to breathe when they're running, because we have this gap fill to go. If I take calls, which I have taken calls, I'm running that pretty tight with a tight stop loss, because you don't want to get caught chasing a call in a really bad downtrend. Next thing you know, you're at 431 and your contract's pretty much worthless. So hope that helps y'all out. Let's talk about, I'm just going to jump straight into the Dixie. Yeah, so you can see not a ton of movement. I didn't even look at the data. So if we go to economic events on our thing here, it should have updated by now. Let's see. So it's a situation where, bearish, but not as bearish as thought, I think, is why we had that initial push up, because you got it's supposed to be 3.3, we came out 3.2. So that's why with that number being what it is, my thought is we're probably priced in. So that's why you're not seeing much craziness. So the dollar did drop. It did rebound as well off of this prior support here. I would just watch this 1 hour 200 EMA. This is what we had talked about a while ago, that it was just going to kind of ping pong through. If the news could break it below this, then my anticipation is we would continue to fall. If the news can break it above this trend line, then we're going to push up to that 103 over time. So it looks like the news did break us below it. So let's see if it can hold it through today. If we continue to close below this, and we start to see the oscillations do this, like in somewhat of a, descending triangle fashion, to continue to beat this level here, then we're going to see that fall. If you go on to a higher time frame, right, you can see it's a very, very double top-ish pattern. So that's why it bounced right here, likely, is they're trying to hold that from breaking that neckline, because, if that size of a double top breaks, it's going to fall pretty bad. Bitcoin has just been doing what Bitcoin's doing. Like I said, we're ranging between 28.8, 30,200. It looks like, what was yesterday? Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, so we just retested. You can see this is a classic retest, which we talked about. We're just ranging between the 28.8. Even the zone tracker, you can see, has just the spot on range. This short is a pretty easy short to read, because you have your wick rejection, you have your other double top here, and then it came down. Now, the thing I would be cautious on taking a long right now is you do have your double top. We broke it. We found support on the EMA. It's coming up, and then it's retesting the neckline. If we cannot break this neckline here, then we're going to have another continued fall back to 28.8. But you would need to see it flip this 200 EMA around 29,374 or so. However, if we can break that neckline above and come back up to, you know, the 29.9 or 30,000 range and hold that support, then it's going to likely shatter this because it just invalidated that. So again, you know, here's our range. You can see we're right in the middle of the range. So be really careful on a long, when you're at a neckline that could collapse. Be careful on a short when you're above this 200 on the 1 hour like that. So just let the market come to you. You know, don't chase the market. If you chase the market, you're going to get wrecked. So it's really all I have for crypto. Cryptos, these have been great oscillations, but there's just not a lot going on with it. So now if you go to the daily, one of the things, I think I talked about this the other day. Oops. Let's see. I'll try to get this where TikTok can see it too. I would take, you know, just something like this, right? And you can see this one right. It's pretty viable because that's right where it rejected as well. I don't like this red. I'm gonna go with like white. And then I would take my lower. It looks more. See, I don't think it's taking that wick. I'm gonna see how this wick goes. Yeah, see this wick lines up actually really well. So this is how I would box it in. Now if you look at it, let's make this a different color, like teal or something, just because of that that white gap fill. If you look at this pattern, right, you have your explosion and you kind of have your falling wedge like that, right? So we could see a fall back down as low as 28.2. Just to pump back up, or we could see it hold the POC at 29.1, continue to hold the support and to squeeze on this and then have an explosion from there. So that's kind of what I would be watching with the crypto side of things. So let's talk about the ATA. So the pre, we're sitting at 448. You know, again, the news, I think we're in that situation where it's already priced in, right? I mean, it's bearish, but not that bearish. You know, we've had a pretty big fall, you know, from where we were. So it's likely that it's already priced in. So let's go ahead and I think more importantly is all this bank stuff that's coming out. So that tends to rock the markets a lot. So I'm going to set up again today. Fairly passive. So today's Thursday. I'm gonna do the 1 days. That's fine. The reason why I hesitate on the 1 days, guys, is for those that trade options, you know, the smaller the day is, the less time you really want to spend in that trade. But we have tight stop losses, so we should be okay. Because the theta is gonna kill you if not. But we'll leave 10 to 2. I'm going to leave parabolic SARs for right now. We'll talk about that in the room if I want to adjust that later. I'm not really trying to think. Yeah, we're gonna probably just stop trades at the end of the day because I don't want a 1 day carrying over. That's not gonna be good. I'm gonna push this to 0.3 so that way our strike's a little bit closer, so we don't have to chase too far. Because if we get too far away from that, we're definitely gonna get rocked on the value. 810. Oh, TikTok, y'all can't see that. I'm gonna move this over here. Okay. So this was the setting. If you're watching on TikTok, we went call, SPY, taste trade. We're doing the parabolic SARs, which is a more passive one. And then we're gonna go trading zone, close trade at the end of the day. Strike 0.3. We have our preset take profits. We're not DCAing. We're gonna have a stop loss 0.25. Today's the 10th. 9:30 is when we'll close our candle, and we should be good. Yeah. I may start this. I may let this start go a little bit sooner, guys. I don't know that I like market open, but I'm okay with 9:45. Market open is a tough one because it tends to fake out pretty quick, so I don't like to get involved with that. So let's go ahead and add that alert. And for those wondering what I'm doing, this is our automated trading that I'm doing, and this is the copy trade program. So we do everything transparent so y'all can see what I do on the settings. So that is going to be our call. Let's make sure that went, yep. And then our put, we're going to just do the same thing. We'll do one Parabolic SARS. We will hit this one at 9:45 as well. Stop it at the end of the day, which means all trades will stop at 3:45 regardless where they are. Strike, we're going to move again to 3. So those that are new to the options, why I'm changing the strike is how far away you believe the price will get to. So instead of, like, if I do a trade, or the ATA does a trade on 448 on a call, if I choose 450 or 51 or 52, that's what it makes it a cheaper or more expensive contract. And there's advantages and disadvantages for doing that. So if you have good TA, and I know that this thing is going to get to 451, you can get a cheap contract and make a ton of money as that works its way back to 451. But if it goes against you, the longer it goes against you, this contract could just become worthless. So the smaller, at least my strategies I've used, the smaller contract days that I put, the tighter I like to have the strike. Now, if you're doing a 10 or a 14 day and you're doing this on your own, you may want to put, a 1% strike, right? You may want to push that out so it's not such an expensive contract. And you got time to let it run. So, if your TA is correct, it could be a really good win. So put SPY, Parabolic SARS 1. We're going 9:45 to 2. I'm still going to cut it off at 2 because I don't really want to trade the second part of that market, because I don't want to let anything go over into next day. So that will be my cutoff, and likely it'll be my cutoff every day except for maybe Monday and Tuesday when I take longer day contracts. Let's change the date to the 10th, 9:30. Closing trade, we got the same thing. We're going to do the stop loss. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. All right, ATA, and we'll create that. And if I see that we're getting, so example, if we're in the room trading, we open up here, and I see that we're holding support on this trend line and this trend line, and it's just holding. I'm okay with flipping the ATA to a more aggressive call. I'm just not okay with it right now. So again, we had news today. I want to see the trend. I need to see the trend, because otherwise you're being aggressive. And we've had I think 2 stop losses this week. Each day that it took a stop loss, it was able to earn back what it lost and more. So we were still net green, which is amazing. But you go too aggressive against that trend, you take 2 stop losses in a row, it's gonna be tough to get that back, right? It's gonna take almost probably the next day to get that back. So that's why when you're dealing with news, whether you're trading or whether you're using our automated trading, you always want to be very, very cautious around the news, because there's 2 things that we always talk about as traders, and that is we can see everything, we can do the patterns, we can trade the data, we can play probability. The knowledge can increase the probability for you to win, but we can't control news, and we can't control its volume. We don't know when the hedge funds are going to buy and when they're going to short, and we don't know what the news is going to go, unless you're a politician, right? Those are the only people that can legally do it, or at least not legally, but not get caught anyways, or not be charged. That's all another rabbit hole, right? But I appreciate your guys' time. That's kind of the range. That's the data. I didn't really get into the stocks because I wanted to spend a lot more time on the SPY with the news to give you that guidance. The stocks, it's like we always tell everybody in our room. We teach you to fish. We don't just give you a fish. You can take everything I just did, all of the indicators that I just applied, everything that you have learned that we teach in the room, and apply that to any stock, right? Don't be out there asking somebody, do Apple, do Tesla, do this. If you need it for a little bit, that's fine, but learn to trade. Once you learn this skill, it's with you forever. You can get to a point where you can be retired and just live off of trading, right? Have a certain amount of risk management and utilize a certain amount of funds and do that. And you can see, people in the room are starting to figure that out. Uh, Let me see. I don't know if y'all can see that, but like Francisco has been absolutely killing it. And part of what he talks about is, um, you know, that he learns a lot in the room, and try to attend because we teach you guys. You can come in for free and we're pretty much teaching you. You guys pay for our technology, right? Not for our what we teach you. And so, and then same thing with the huddles, right? But I mean, you look at some of these P&Ls he's putting up. I mean, he had $580 yesterday from the goal. He took this put right here, which is funny because Francisco, if you're watching, I told you to go call, but that's okay. We all learn, right? It happens. But he didn't freak out. He took a loss, and look at that, came right back and just freaking made a killing. And then I think the other day, where was it? I mean, look at that, $3,000 in one day. I mean, just absolutely killed it. So, and this is you know, just doing the huddles. I mean, you can see right here the huddles, right? And so, like I said, if you're not putting in, it's kind of like everything else that everybody tells you, right? You get out of things what you put in. If you're not attending the huddles, if you're not, joining in the room when you can, if you're not asking questions, if you're not talking on the trading floor, we don't know that you're having trouble, right? So, come on in, help us understand the struggles you're getting into, so we can actually help you get past them, right? That's why we create these tools. We have buy sell signals, automated trading, everything to do out there to make you successful. I personally love the shift that we've done to options because I don't I trade crypto a little bit, but more on the spot side now because of the issues with the U.S. and the futures. But I don't like getting on the crazy risky platforms. But it's kind of nice, I trade till like y'all know, I trade till 11. Usually go do a few things and I'll check the market and around 2 or so. If I like a trade, I throw it in. But after 4:30, I'm done. Like my mind's clear. I'm working on other stuff or doing other things. I don't have to worry about it, and so I've kind of enjoyed shifting to that. And I still have the ATA that's trading too, right? So that's still earning. But you can see, just I'll leave you guys with this, the push up here. This is what we were discussing, right? That I think it was priced in the fall, and this is a classic news oscillation, up, down, up. It's literally classic, and so we'll see where the market opens. If you guys want to come hang out, come on into the room. This Google Meet that I have here, we put that in the room and everybody comes in and that has time. I know people work. Even if you work, but you can listen, right? You can still put a earbud in or something and hear what we're saying. I'm transparent. I'm showing my screen the entire time, and I tell you what I'm thinking. So and what I'm watching, and so far, I wouldn't say I'm 100% because I don't think anybody is, and if they tell you that they are, they're lying. But I like to believe I'm 80 or 85% win rate as far as when I say it's going to do something, it follows with that either quickly or relatively quickly, right? So, but yeah, check us out, guys. For those in the community, I hope that helps you guys out with the guidance, and I will see you in the room soon.